G'day there, and welcome back to the Star Wars Radio Hour. My name is Hannah, and today we are joined by one of the most creatively interesting people I think I might have come across so far. We are joined by the very talented Kyberphonic today to talk all things lightsabers. Hey man, how
Oh
you
man,
doing?
all things lightsabers.
Oh
I'm doing
yeah.
good.
Like I just briefly alluded to, we're going to be delving into the saber world today. But to start off and to get everyone introduced to who you are, do you want to talk about who/what is Kyberphonic and what you do?
Kyberphonic. It is lightsaber sounds for custom lightsabers.
Because I want to delve into that part of the kind of the process and what is your role with these sounds and putting these sound fonts, we call them, into the sabers and how you got started in this business essentially.
Ooh, it's kind of touchy. It's kind of, like there's like we got copyrighted stuff and everything. There's
Mm.
so much we could really do, but yeah, I mean, you got to have the ear for it. I have a history in audio. I've been doing it
Mm.
for a long time, so pretty much it all started because when Force Awakens came out, um, got right back into Star Wars. Loved Star Wars as a kid,
Mm.
but that stopped in 2005. I was 12, so
Mm.
then from pretty much all my teenage years, I got out of Star Wars. I know we had Clone Wars and stuff, but I wasn't interested in it. Um,
Mm.
so pretty much when Force Awakens came out, I was like, oh yeah, like this stuff's cool.
Mm.
But then I think it didn't really kick in until like Last Jedi was coming out, and then I was like, all right, I need a lightsaber. Like I need the one. And I
Mm.
did research, and you find like the Black Series, and I had friends that had those, and they were cool. And then, but once you start looking for something, and at least with like my personality, how I work, like I can't just get something, you know, cheap or whatever. I have to find something really nice,
Mm.
and it got out of hand. And then that's how I found the lightsaber world and like YouTubers and stuff doing reviews on stuff, SaberForge, all this crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, but pretty much I eventually I got one, and once I got it, I found out you could change the sounds on it and stuff, which I thought
Mm.
was really cool. And then because I didn't even really, I think I knew the sounds. I definitely knew the sounds were different, but like
Mm.
I didn't know to a certain extent. And then once you start paying attention to it, then you're like, dang, like almost every character has their own unique, sounds. Like when you hear it, you're like, oh, that's Anakin's or that's whoever. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So
Yeah.
once you train your ear for that, then you can't unhear it, and it got super interesting. And then essentially, I bought some from other creators, and once I downloaded it and saw it, it was just wave files, which is in audio,
Mm.
it's what you work with all the time. So once
Yeah.
I figured that out, I was like, dang, can I like I kind of want to do my own. Like I think it'd be fun to make my
Yeah.
own or whatever. And then it just snowballed. Obviously, it got way out
Yeah.
of hand. But yeah, that's how I kind of got into it, essentially.
Yeah. Absolutely. I also want to touch on a bit of your background as well, coming into it, and you kind of mentioned it as well, because you have a background in audio. You're into the music scene, you're into the audio scene. Tell us a little bit about that for
Kind of,
like
yeah.
even more context.
I mean, it's just something I've always done. Like I never like, you know, straight out of high school, I didn't do the normal person thing. I wanted to do my own thing. So, but even back then, I think when I was like 16, I started getting into like recording, and
Mm.
we all have our bands back in the day, and recording with people is super expensive. So why not learn
Yeah.
and do it yourself? Um, yeah, I mean that's a huge part of my life, just music in general. But yeah, I mean, getting into it and doing all the recording, local people, friends, stuff like that. So I just
Mm.
something I've always been able to do. So as soon as that came in with the lightsaber thing, and I was like, oh, this is sick. Like I just started doing it. But I guess what turned it into like a job kind of was
Mm.
I was just doing it for fun, and there was like the it was like a Facebook group like of the certain kind of lightsaber, the open source Profi board lightsabers, because those
Mhm.
were like just came out at the time,
Mm.
and I would make a sound or whatever, and this was before I even had a lightsaber, because okay, I'm lying. I did have one, but it was old tech.
I love that.
It wasn't this like
Yeah,
this
right.
new tech with like the smooth swing and all the crazy cool effects, the
Yeah,
NeoPixel.
yeah,
That
yeah.
was all just coming out. And when I
Right.
got one made, it was the old tech. It was like the flashlight. It was like you'd have to
Mhm.
swing it really hard to get a swing. Yeah, I mean there was no
Yeah,
in between.
yeah.
I've, and then how I work, I'm always on YouTube looking up new things or whatever, and I found somebody with that technology, and I was like, what? Like I just paid hundreds of dollars for this one, and it doesn't
Mhm.
do anything like that one. Like that one's way cooler. So I found somebody. This was like right when it first started, within like
Wow.
months, which is it's crazy. I got in at the perfect time. That's like how I got so lucky with all this too. Like
Yeah,
obviously,
right.
the talent of audio and everything over the years, but also the timing. Because I'm sure somebody could come in now with more experience than me, but it'd be harder for them to get to a certain
Yeah.
point. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
so
for
I
sure.
got very lucky with timing as well.
Do you
You're
know what
walking me
year
through
we're
it.
talking here? What year are we talking here?
Oh, good point. 2018. It wasn't that long
Okay.
ago.
Yeah, that's
20
recent. It's like
2018.
that's like
Yeah,
super recent. I mean, it's
yeah,
6
it
years ago,
all
but it feels
exploded.
like it was last year. Yeah, 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 there you go.
Well, really, I think exploded the lightsaber world was the COVID and TikTok when that all came
Yes.
in, and
Yeah, for sure.
everybody was stuck at home bored. They had TikTok, and then you see everybody on TikTok swinging lightsabers and stuff, and
Mhm.
that's when it really exploded, and everybody started buying them. Uh, the super popular Chinese companies that make them in like huge bulk, they just started then, got super big,
Mm. Mhm.
it exploded. So like, yeah,
Mm.
everybody has their own experiences with COVID. With me, it was like life changing, like just
Yeah.
out of nowhere, like
Yeah.
it just blew up. Yeah.
Absolutely. And like with the mention of TikTok, like that obviously would have had like you're saying, a massive effect on everyone's just piquing their interest, and also everyone kind of realizing of like, oh, I can own something that's pretty close to a real life lightsaber
Oh, very.
at
Yeah.
home. Yeah, everyone
Hmm.
realizing that. Oh, that is so fascinating. So tell us about the process with you've made some fonts, you've made these fonts, how your collaboration works with saber companies, the actual creators, or companies, whoever they are, creating the
Yeah.
physical saber, and where do you come in that?
There's a few that just from having so many being one like it, there was a few people that were doing it before me, of course. I mean, this has been going on for years, but
Mm,
then all the new tech with the new sounds, a lot of people didn't know how to do. And
mm,
once I figured out, oh, that's easy. It's this kind of looping file, blah blah blah.
mhm,
Once I figured that out, I was like, oh, I could just you know run with this because nobody else is doing it. There was like
mhm,
two or three other people doing it.
mm.
But they're all normal people with normal lives, 9 to 5 jobs. Didn't have time to be
Yeah.
busting out a ton of them. And I
Mhm.
hustled. I got so into it. When I get into
Yeah.
something, I get so into it. So it
Yeah.
just, I like every day, all day, I was just pumping them. I was hungry. I was just making them.
Mhm,
Given I'm didn't know what I was doing. I mean, with any kind of new thing that you learn, you kind of just learn as you go. So
mm,
since then I've updated and made them all better and stuff like that. But when I first started, I was pumping them out because people were wanting them. There
mm,
wasn't you know every single character has pretty much their own unique sound. I mean,
mhm,
like some of them share, but like for the most part, they all have something. So
mhm,
there's a lot of things to cover. A lot of different things to make.
mm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
How to
And
go
and
about
you
making them though?
yeah, yeah.
It depends. I mean, some things are harder than others. Literally, I've had some where I've made within 3 hours, which is insane, and then others take me like 2 3 weeks. So
Mm,
it all depends on like source material, where you're getting the stuff from, how you're doing it. I mean, there's questionable
Mm.
ways to get it. I don't, but
Yeah. I mean, I'm very fascinated by the even just the selection of however way you get it. The selection of, quotes and specific sounds from movies and
yeah.
characters. Like is that something that you just decide upon, or do clients often request a certain sound? Or is it just
Well,
purely you think this is cool, I'm
it's
gonna
it's
do it?
all it's all it's all decided by me at the end of the day. So if I want to do
Mm,
something, I do it. I put it out. If somebody likes it, they get it. I don't. I at the very beginning, I did like customs for people and stuff like that. Like they wanted their own, like they had their own character in mind, and or for cosplay or whatever, like which is cool.
mm, mm,
But the more I rose with it, the less time I was have to do that kind of stuff because those would take so long and they're so specific to that specific person. It's just like in music when you record an artist or whatever, and then they have their requests to
mm,
fix things or change things to what they like. You're catering it to another person. Where with
mm.
90% of or pretty much all I do now, it's just I have to like once I'm happy with it, I put it out and that's it. Yeah, I mean it's way less
Yeah, right.
stressful. So I haven't done like commission work unless it's for like a company, I guess, which we were kind of talking about the
Mm,
relationships with them. Um, then I'll do it. Obviously it's a decent pay, but then also I tell them like, hey, like I get creative freedom. Yeah, I mean, like you kind of tell me a general where you want to go with it. You could
mhm.
describe it, and I'm good with turning words into sound because that's just what I've always done. When they're like, oh, make it, you know, bigger or smaller. Yeah, I mean, like those are like
Yeah.
key. Like you normal people be like, how the hell do I make that into audio? But
Yeah, yeah.
after years of doing it, you just know what people are asking for.
Over the years, do you have a standout kind of couple of fonts or sounds that you've created that you really love to create? More of a is there a particular character that you've been like, this is just, I've done this so well done, and I've really nailed.
The canon, the actual lightsaber sounds. It like as a whole, I
Mhm,
have the most fun with that because it's the most challenging.
mhm,
Because you hear a ton now, people make like, their out of universe ones like, Thor's hammer or what, like just like
mm,
the ones that aren't lightsabers. And
yeah,
with those, there's no rules. Like you could just put a sound and it's cool and it's great for beginners and there you can make something and be happy with it. But for me, the challenge is making it react the same as it does on screen. Yeah, I mean, like
yeah,
that's what I have the most fun with, I guess. And it's
yeah, yeah.
it's the hardest for sure, but
Mm,
I guess I like the challenge. Specific characters. Well, I mean, I can remember the hardest ones to do was
yeah.
uh, Ezra's from Rebels. That one
Oh
was
yeah,
ridiculously
yeah.
hard,
I can
just
imagine.
because it was so weird sounding. There's not a lot of there wasn't any like material that it was just like came from. Like if something's like a super unique or brand new sound, good luck. Like with things
Yeah, right.
like if we're getting like really detail here, if you're talking about like prequel sounds like Obi-Wan, Anakin, like the generic Darth Vader, like the easy stuff, because that stuff's been out for years, it's easy to find. I mean, like the video games, like
Yeah,
Revenge of the Sith video game or Battlefront.
yeah.
You get the clean, isolated sounds from those and use those. Where something brand new in like a
Mm,
show, like the Ahsoka show, the Dark Saber for perfect example, even though it was in Clone Wars a
yeah,
lot, that one was
yeah.
very hard to do too.
Right. And
The
and it sounds
I'll tell
different. The
that
ducks
story.
yeah.
That one sounds totally different. And what's
Yeah.
crazy, what I found out, because I was trying to find like the raw, like where the hell they even make that from? Because like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
normal lightsaber, they use like the TV projector or the TV for the buzz, and they use like a movie projector for the
Yes.
hum. They put it
It's
together.
like 2 motors or
Everybody
something.
knows.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's like
something.
the
Yeah,
one
yeah,
everybody
yeah.
knows. Kylo Ren's is like a cat purring and stuff. But um, it's like there's like a cat. I don't know the word for it, but there's sound effects online that are like free use or whatever, fair
Yeah,
use
like
or something. I don't know,
fair use. I think yeah.
something like that. That's where the Darksaber sound comes from. And what's
Mm.
crazy is it's actually used in what's it called? Unicorn.
Unicorn.
My Little Pony.
My Little it's used in My Little Pony.
Yes, yeah.
Where in
One
what?
the I the horn like it does magic, and the sound of it doing magic is the Darksaber.
You're kidding. I mean, I
I'm
I
not kidding.
haven't
So like I
watched
was like,
My
oh,
Little
how do I get
Pony
the like?
recently,
Yeah, no, yeah,
but I got to now.
yeah.
I'm gonna look
So
that up.
because before they even had like the actual like nice replica, Black Series and stuff out, they had the little
Mm,
toy plastic one. So I
mhm.
got it, and then took it apart and took unwired the speaker and wired like a guitar jack, and then I was able to plug it and get the audio directly from that. So that's how I was
You're
able to do the Dark
kidding.
Saber. Yeah,
Wow.
at least the
Wow.
base of it, and then other things I'm able to pull in from like the shows and stuff like that. But like usually like the humming
Right.
sound is like pretty
Yeah.
hard to get sometimes because there's music.
Is
That's it.
was
That's
it
the
this
one.
one? Is that
That's
this
that's the
literally
one. Yeah.
one? Yeah. Let's get
Yep.
that
Yep.
sound.
That was the first one that you could find the humming sound on. That was like
Right.
clean and long. It's like a
Yeah.
30-second loop on that.
Yeah. There you go. So you took this one apart, and
Yeah.
that's how you
Now, since
made
then,
it.
since then they've released cleaner, better versions from like the Lego Star Wars game. So we're
Yeah.
good now.
Right.
But I made that one work.
That was
Like
the
that was
way. That
back
was the
in
way.
that was probably the first one I did where it was like, oh, this guy's serious. Like
Yeah.
because that
Right.
I did that in like 2018 or something like that.
Like you said, Darksaber was through Clone Wars, but then it hit really big again
There
with
was no there.
Mando.
It was used a lot in Clone Wars, but the the thing that sucks when you're trying to get the sounds from the shows and stuff like that
Mm.
is the background noise, the music and stuff like that. Like you don't want that
Yeah.
in it. Yeah, I mean, you it's that's the hard part is cleaning up the sounds if it's even possible.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
yeah.
Wow. So that it makes
Hmm.
sense that those really popular characters are typically the easier ones, because you're right, they would have a
Hmm.
massive catalog of everything of those main
Yeah.
characters. But those niche ones having a bit more
Yeah,
trickier.
because all the prequel and the original trilogy, they didn't do anything crazy. Like Darth Maul was probably the most unique one out of all of them, and
Mm.
his stuff you can find everywhere. Now, his is so easy, um, but out of all the
Yeah.
prequels and even the original trilogy, like it's all based off the same stuff. So then when Disney came in and they started adding crazier, bigger, like they sound
Mm.
huge now. Like they sound like
Mm.
the sound design is crazy. So
Yeah.
they get more experimental, and anytime there's a new character they give them a new sound or they slightly change something or whatever,
Yeah.
which is cool. I love it, but it is there's more to it.
Yeah, absolutely. I wanna just loop back onto, you talked about
Mhm.
Kylo Ren saber being made from a cat's purr. What is that about? I didn't know that.
Yeah, one of the sound designers that did it, the rumblingness to it is the
Uh-huh.
cat purr, I guess, stretched out or something. I don't know.
Wow.
That one I would like to learn more about. There's not
Yeah.
much information about how it was like made entirely, but the cat purr thing.
Yeah. I mean, whose cat was purring? Like, I wanna know who the cat was. That's my
It was
question
it
to
was
that.
it was somebody that was making a sound. Yeah,
Man, I gotta find that out. That is so cool. I love that. I love that.
yeah.
Is there any I mean, we mentioned Dark Saber. We got Kylo
Mhm.
Saber. I'm trying to think of any of the other newer sabers that have been a bit of a challenge as well. Because obviously we've had a bunch of shows and things come out. Any other
Right.
sounds that really stick out to you?
The other one that was pretty hard was Leia's from Rise of Skywalker. The one that Ray uses.
Oh, yeah.
That one was pretty hard because it kind of sounds like Ahsoka's, but it is different.
Yeah,
And
right.
that one took me a full 2 weeks to make. That was probably, I don't know, between that, the Ezra one was pretty hard, and the
Mhm.
Dark Saber was pretty hard. I think those
Yeah,
were the three hardest ones I've done.
right. Top 3
Even
hardest.
even even
Yeah.
even in the Ahsoka show, the one that Sabine uses, which was Ezra's old one, that one
Mhm.
was so weird. Like they changed it, and it's so weird, but I love it. But
Mm.
it's so annoying sounding. If I could like
Yeah.
it sounds annoying. It's so weird, but I don't know. I love it. So
Yeah. Weird but different, but you love it. That is
yeah.
so great. I love that. Great summary of it.
Mm,
Talking about the sound designers in Star Wars, this is such a perfect segue into what I wanted to know next. The sound of design of Star Wars has been iconic since it first came out.
hmm
The amount of not only the sabers but ships and the music and the sound effects of everything has been such a standout through the whole entire franchise. How do you think that has kind of affected, or has it shaped your approach to audio? Have you been, you saw Ben Burt talk and you're like, I want to do that? How has Star Wars sound or music wise kind of impacted your career as a creative and your inspiration?
I mean, I loved it as a kid, and I definitely played the music. Like I had the CDs, you know what I mean? So I did like the
Mm,
music aspect of it. The sound effects I really didn't even get into until I got a lightsaber and start. You know what I mean? It's pretty fresh for me because
mm,
for me it's mostly like when I do audio, it's music or mixing and stuff like
mhm,
that. So I mean, it's pretty fresh. Like the amount of attention to detail it takes to do like the real stuff, and then like
mm.
learning about it afterwards, like all the say like Foley artists and stuff like yeah, I mean like
Yeah,
a
yeah,
lot of
yeah, for
work.
sure.
But I've since then I've done some like sound for like fan films and stuff like that.
Mhm,
It's no joke. It's hard. It takes a long time to like match every movement with things and like
mhm.
it's tough. It's a lot of work. That like I always thought like it'd be so cool to like work for Star Wars and do that, but like
Yeah.
nah, dude. I just want to be a fan and enjoy it. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to ruin it.
Yeah, be a
Like
lot. Yeah.
already like when I watch like a new show, like say like when Acolyte comes out and I hear lightsaber ignition or whatever, I'm either gonna be like, oh, that's that person's, or oh, that's something brand. Yeah, I mean, like it's already gonna take me out of it.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
wow.
I'm trying like this is as far as I go. Yeah, I mean, like I don't want to ruin the experience. I usually try not to.
Yeah.
I usually try to just like let it all in, and then second watch I could be like, all right, let's cut this up and let's see
Yeah.
what we got.
Lots of
But
sounds. Yeah.
yeah, but
Yeah,
I
yeah, for
usually
sure.
can't help but notice because when you hear it triggers my brain and it's that person or oh this is something new or
For sure, for
yeah.
sure. I mean, with the current, like, kind of journey and, yeah, I guess the journey of the different type of Star Wars media we have, going from the big trilogies from original to the prequels to sequels, and then now to a lot of the focus on shows and TV show media.
Mhm.
How could you kind of describe, in your opinion, how that saber sound has changed? We've kind of already picked it a little
it's
bit
it's gotten way
already.
more cinematic, way more
Yeah,
cinematic.
right.
Like they it's not like I mean it's movies in general, everything is getting bigger and like I guess more realistic in some cases. But as for the lightsaber, yeah, they make them like I don't know, there's more to it. Back in the day it was just a yeah, I mean, it was like a
Yeah.
wimpy sound, like, it was cool, don't get me wrong, I love the original stuff, but when you compare it like, when Force Awakens came out and they ignited the graphics for the first time,
Mm,
it punched you in the face, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if, like, when you listen to like, I don't know what kind of music you like, but, like,
mm,
you'll listen to, like, pop, soft stuff, and then every
yeah.
once in a while, like, something hard comes, like, like metal or hard rock or something, and the
Mhm.
production just slaps you in the face, and, you get that adrenaline. That's
Yeah.
what I get out of the new lightsaber sound, especially, like, the newer ones. So
Yeah, absolutely. More cinematic. More cinematic. I love it. I love it. This is so interesting. This is like I'm getting more questions as we go on.
yeah, go
Because
for
yeah,
it.
this the yeah, the saber journey has been really interesting, and I think you're right on the money there that it's become so much more cinematic. That was such
Mhm,
a big thing as well. Talking about how you kind of jumped back into it with the Force Awakens. I remember the Force Awakens trailer, that being such a big kind of ticket
mhm.
and interest of these sounds, these iconic sounds are back, and they were just so full in that trailer, which was really cool to see. It was really, really cool to see. Do you have a favorite saber hilt? I feel like I've got to ask you that.
Like the original. Well, actually, no. What might be my favorite, which is what got me into all this, was the Force Awakens version of Rey's. It's called the Graphics because that's what the prop is based off of, the camera flash or whatever.
Yeah.
Probably that one. I have a few of those. I actually have like the vintage ones from the 1920s, 30s, 40s, whatever. I'd say that. And I know that's not very original, but
I don't hear many people say that particular version of it being the best.
Very original, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate
the first
it.
one
Yeah,
you see
I like
on
that.
screen.
Oh, the collection must be so elaborate. I love it. Actually, do you know how many sabers you have in your collection?
50 plus.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Are you General Grievous?
Well,
Oh my god.
well, a lot of them are like static. So I do have the ones that light up, obviously, for what I do and like the sounds and stuff. But most of the ones I collect, they're built like the ones used in the original movies. You know what I mean? Like you can't. It's like the actual flash that goes on a camera, or like most of them, they're like they don't work. You know what I'm saying? It's just but to me that's cooler.
All right, so we've learned about the whole process of applying these fonts to sabers, how you create them. And I think this has been such a fascinating conversation and learning about that whole process, because honestly, I had no idea about it before we came into this conversation. So I want to end on a philosophical note and a message for people. And it is something that I ask most guests that I have on here is what message of Star Wars do you think is good to live by, or you would, you find is the most important message that we can learn from the Star Wars story?
I know I'm one of the rare fans that likes pretty much everything. I always see, like I don't really, not really anything that I'm like, like so many people are like, fuck Last Jedi, blah, blah. I'm like, I kind of like Last Jedi. Yeah, I mean, so like,
yeah, I've heard that. Yeah.
And with now, like since COVID and everything, like watching it online with friends and stuff like in general, just meeting people, making friends throughout, like, so many of these people I would have never met ever, you know what I mean? Because we all live far away and stuff like that. So, and I feel like now pretty much most of my friends I have that, the good relationships I have, they're all online. They're all from people I met through Star Wars, which is pretty dope.
Yeah, absolutely. So
not really
it's
a
about
quote or a message, but I
no.
mean,
I like that. I like that. It's the connection it brings. It's the community it can bring of how Star Wars can kind of bring people together.
Boom. See, you're good.
There you go. I know. It's like I do this. I don't know. Well, thank you so much for jumping on for the RaeDio Hour and telling us all about saber fonts. How do you make sounds? The whole process. Do you want to tell people where they can find your more on social media and your handles?
Kind of. I mean, it's just Kyberphonic on everything.
Kyberphonic everywhere.
Kyberphonic Fonts is the website where you get the sounds, and yeah, that's about it.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much again for dropping on by and chatting to us today. I appreciate it. And make sure at home you check out Kyberphonic all over Instagram. I'll drop his social links down below. And if you want to check out those fonts, make sure you head to his website as well. And we'll catch you next time on the Star Wars RaeDio Hour.